everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month, the month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about Power Rangers Time Force Legend of the Clock Tower. This is a Katie focused episode. Okay, so this Katie episode, I had a hard time picking which one to pick because first I was going to do the one where she was kind of like, well, since the future's getting rewritten, like maybe her family might not be there. But then she don't do much in that. And then I thought about, okay, maybe the one where they're like the dude finds out their identities. But, she don't really do much in that. But then I'm like, okay, then how about this one? And this one's such a weird episode. But at least she's like the focus of it, And she has stuff to do, but it mainly focuses around these other characters who are white and stuff. Well, this is the closest one I can get. So, the Legend of the Clock Tower. Her and Trip, they're trying to fix the clock tower. Then he sees something's wrong at the top. She goes up there, the attic part. Because see, their base of command and where they live at is the clock tower. Because they are from the future, the year 3000, except for West. And so, this is also that Power Ranger season when they wear the same clothes in every episode. I was surprised they were wearing pajamas in this episode. And so she goes up there and Wes is up there. He's like, you might not want to go up that part. He said that's where the ghost of like Walter Brown resides. And he said Walter Brown was this man who was like very lonely and died lonely and stuff. And so like when she goes to bed that night, she hears something. She tries to wake up Jen. Jen like, it's probably nothing. And so she goes to investigate. She puts her clothes on when she goes to investigate. So that was kind of weird. And then she falls, and then she is transported back to colonial America, back when the clock towers were the clock tower was working. It doesn't explain how she went through time, but they just rushing the story. Now, I gotta say something. She's in colonial America, and she's black, and nobody notices that. But then again, you gotta remember this is kind of like a Power Ranger when they don't do that, because remember when Kimberly went back in time to the Wild West, and there was like versions of Aisha and all them, and nobody cared about race, so that's a good thing. However, she is dressed funny. She is dressed in the modern day. Nobody said anything about that. Nobody noticed that. Nobody said, witch, let's burn her to the stake. Like, none of that stuff. So while she's there, and by the way, this is like a Back to the Future episode. There's so much Back to the Future references in this. So, like, she's there, and I guess she meets, like, what's his name? Walter Brown. And so she recognizes him from like the painting that Wes showed her. And so he's talking to like this one girl that he likes, and then like the bullies come, and it's the girl's boyfriend and his two goons, very similar to that of Back to the Future. So in a way, they harass him and mess with him, and they push and shove him into like manure, just like Back into the Future. And then he manhandles the girl, just like in Back to the Future. And so Walter tries to stand up for him, stand up for her, but he can't. He's too much of a wimp and a coward. So in this episode, she talks to him, and she helps him unload like the stuff that he's supposed to do. And he's all like, oh, you're just a girl. You ain't that strong. Well, she proves him wrong, and she has about like 6 in the hand. In both hands. Because remember, that's another thing about her character. It's never explained why and how she is so strong. Because she has superhuman strength. But it's never explained because she's not a mutant, because she doesn't look like a monster. And because in the future, there's tons of mutants and stuff. But she's not a mutant. She looks human, but then again, she could be an alien like Trip. But then if she was, they would have mentioned she's an alien. they would have mentioned she's a mutant. So she has to be a human, and she must have been experimenting on something, but they won't explain how she got that strong. And even the actress doesn't even know that and stuff. And so, like, but then they always say they want the perfect humans in the year 3000, but they never said anything about augmenting them. So that they need to like explain that. It would be so nice if they did. So him and her they talk, and then the bully comes in, and he's all like, "There's no way you could like unloaded all those sacks, you know, like by yourself, and you're so weak and scrawny and all this other crap." So, something happens. I think he's about to hit Walter, or he's about to hit the girl, or something like that. I think he's about to hit Walter. I think he's about to hit somebody. And so Katie intervenes, and she grabs his wrist, and she like bends it down, and she's all like, you know, you need to stop. Yeah, I think he's gonna hit Walter. So then, you know, she's all like, well, you know, we need to sell this arm wrestling style. And so they arm wrestle. First, she's just playing around with him, letting him win until she gets close to her hand being pinned. So then she puts on the strength, and she just like, um, she kind of like just threw and tossed him like on the floor and everything when she won like the game. And so like I'm forgetting how to play. I forget what it's called. Sorry, I'm having like a blonde moment or something. And so she wins, and they're all surprised by her strength and everything. But this angers the bully dude even more, to where he's gonna harass Walter even more. And Walter even tells her that, like, he say, you know, he thanks her and everything for like, you know, helping him, but it's just gonna make things worse. And sometimes that really does happen when it comes to bullies. Like somebody will stand up for you, but then that just pisses them off even more. So he plans on beating like what's his face up. And you know, that's another thing about this episode. She never even tries to get back home, or even like wonders how she got there, or how she's gonna get back. Like this episode was just so weird and stuff. And I feel bad talking about it because I wanted like a more upbeat episode where she's like, you know, this and that. But anyways, um, so the bully dude's about to beat him up again. And so the dude's girlfriend overhears that and tells him. He packs his stuff and he flees. Oh, by the way, his dad is the one who built the clock tower, so he lives there. So anyway, so that's why he died there alone. And so he's about to flee, and Katie gives him some words of wisdom, talking about you can't run from your battles. You have to face them head on and everything. But it doesn't work, and he leaves. So she's going to fight his battles for him. And she confronts the bully, and she gets in his face, and she lays down the law. He is scared, and he's just like walking back, and she's just walking towards him, and she just starts pushing and like shoving him. She doesn't want to hurt him because she knows she can like really do some damage. And then so she pushes him into like the fountain, and then I think he grabs like a shovel and he's gonna hit her with it. But then that girl interfered, and he's gonna hit the girl. So Katie was gonna stop that until Walter comes back, and now he's gonna finally confront the bully. So he fights the bully, but he's having a hard time because the bully's tossing him around. And then so when he's on the ground, he turns around and punches the crap in his gut. And then the bully goes down. So it's just like Back to the Future when the dad punched Biff and everything. So then, you know, him and the girl, they like walk off. They're all in lovey-dovey and stuff. And Katie's just looking. But then Jen wakes her up. She was sleeping, having a dream. And then Katie's all like, Rancic is attacking. So they go to fight Rancic. But they have to have some type of Power Ranger battle in this, right? But I noticed something when I watched the Power Ranger battle. They reuse footage of like the Cyclobots, and they fighting them out in the desert. I'm just like, why are they reusing footage? So then they have a monster, and they fight the monster. And so they're doing the best to fight the monster. They call on their cannon thing, and they like blast the dude. But then he exposes his DNA, which makes them grow. So they call on the Time Force Megaship, Blue Mode. And so that's not working. So then they go to Mode Red, and they like I think they also get the maybe the Shadow dude. I can't remember if that is or not. But anyway, they defeat it in typical Power Ranger form. And so when she's back at the clock tower, she's talking to Wes and then talking about like that Walter dude, and he's all like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well, you told me he died like alone and everything," and he's all like, "No, he didn't. He had like a lady friend." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" So she runs to the painting, and the painting has now changed. It's now Walter and that girl. So it wasn't no dream. She actually somehow transported in time, and then so it ends, and it's just a weird episode that doesn't explain much of nothing. But when it comes to Katie, one thing I always loved about Katie is that she's like super tall, super strong, but she's like a big teddy bear with a huge heart who loves to hug people to death and everything. And and it's just she has like this sweet, adorable quality to her. I just wish she could have got more character development. But even though she's sweet and cuddly and everything, she is very tough. And she will get in your face and tell you what's what. Now, of course, in the Japanese version, her counterpart is a male, a very tall male. So when they cast this role, they're looking for a tall female. And she is very tall, by the way. And so, like, yeah. I just wish they could have gave her like a better episode. Now I do like the episode where she's worried that the future might not be there and it might be altered because like she has a family and she loves her family to death, which they never bring up, but that's only that one episode. And so like she when they was in the past they just assumed nothing's gonna happen to the future until they realize something, that Wes's dad built something. He modeled it after like Ranger technology, and Circuit tells them that this never appeared in the past and everything. This must have just been like new current events taking place, so therefore the future will be altered. She gets worried to the point where she's all like, "What's the point of even fighting these monsters? Because like the future might not even be there. Our families might not even be there." And she worries she might not even get home. And they literally have to like they don't know what to tell her, you know what I'm saying? Because they know the future might not be there and stuff, and they can't reassure her that her family's gonna be there. But they morph and fight anyway, and so it takes her a while to like um regain the courage to fight like as a Power Ranger again. It's like she's physically strong, but she had to dig deep down inside herself to regain her mental stability and become mentally strong again. And they even gave her a Jennifer Love Hewitt, "I know what you did last summer" moment where she like spins around and yells to the sky and everything. But for the most part, that's really just the Katie character. I just wish they could have done so much more. And it can't be like a weird coincidence that like all the black characters rarely get any kind of character development. It can't be and stuff or like that, because most rangers they only get like a couple episodes themselves. But when you look at Jen has like a lot of episodes where they're either like focus episodes or she's teamed with like Wes and stuff like that. But even when she's teamed with Wes, she is still part of that main focus. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.